Hi, welcome to everyone. This is Dr. Mohammad Imtiaz Hossain, lecturer from Department of Management, Sunway Business School. So in this session, we will see how can we conduct analysis in Smart ALS and SPSS. So first, we want to see that I believe that you already have a conceptual framework or research framework. So this research framework, as a sample, I'm using this for this session. So in this framework, if you see, they have two independent variables, which is transformational leadership style and human resource practice. So these two are independent variables that which impacting onto the dependent variable, which is the organizational performance. Okay. So in this framework, there are two independent variables, which is transformational leadership style and human resource practice, and one dependent variable, which is organizational performance. And also in this framework, there have one mediator, which is workforce engagement, and one moderator, which is decision makers' emotional competency. Some of your framework might not have mediator, some of the framework might not have the moderator. It's okay. Okay. So as a sample and example, I'm using this framework, which consists of all the variables: independent variable, dependent variable, mediating, and moderating. Direct and indirect both relationship are existing here. Okay. So, and then you have to make ready your measurement of the construct or questionnaire. So I believe you already have this questionnaire. So this is a sample questionnaire based on your framework. You have to prepare that. So here is the preliminary statements of the questionnaire. Then you have the demographic profile based on your industry or sector. So in this framework, in this study, we are investigating the SME's performance. So the type of category of SME, business year, number of employees, annual sales, and organizational designation are the demographic information. And then the section B covered the questions related to the construct or variables. So transformational leadership style, the independent variable one. So these are the questions. The four questions are consisting the transformational leadership style. Then human resource practice. So since they have training, selection, compensation, career growth, performance measurement, participation. So these are the questions covering the human resource management practices. And workforce engagement is the mediator. So four items or four questions are consist of workforce management. Then these are the questions consist of decision makers' emotional competency, which is the moderator. And for the dependent variable, organizational performance, the 11 questions, it consists of measuring the organizational performance. So you have to make ready this questionnaire and then the framework before conducting the analysis. Okay. So let's see in the SPSS normally what are the analysis we are doing. So there are some preliminary analysis and some final analysis. So in the preliminary analysis, we have to check whether they have any missing responses or not. And then we have to conduct the pilot analysis. For the pilot analysis, we will check the reliability of the variables. And then if the construct are reliable, it's ensured the reliability, then we can go further for the final analysis. For the final analysis, we have to check the outliers, normality, autocorrelation, non-response bias, cover method bias, demographic profile, descriptive analysis, correlation, and regression. So if your framework they have no independent, only independent variable and dependent variable exist here, no mediating or no moderating, then you can conduct all the analysis by using the SPSS. I'm repeating again, if your model or framework, only consists of independent variable and dependent variable, so you can run all the analysis in SPSS. But if your framework consists of independent variable, dependent variable, mediating, and moderating, that means the direct relationship and indirect relationship both, then it is suggested to use SPSS and Smart PLS to run the regression. So you can run the preliminary analysis and then until correlation in SPSS. But for the regression of mediating and moderating relationship, you have to use the Smart PLS software. So you will see both in this session. Okay. So we already have make ready our framework, the research model, and then the questionnaire or measurement of the construct are already ready. They are in our hands. So now when we collect our data using the Google survey form, so when the data we derive from the Google survey, Google form, it can saved by Excel or CVSN. So this is an example of the data set in the Excel sheet. So your data will be derived in this Excel form like this way. Okay, you can see the demographic profile here, the category, the business year, number of employees, annual sale of SME, and organizational designation. And these are the variables related responses given by the respondents. So some are agreed, some are strongly agree, neutral, strongly agree, okay, strongly disagree. So might have the responses based on your scale, based on your scale, Likert scale. It can be 5 Likert scale or it can be 7 Likert scale or up to your questionnaire, nature of the questionnaire. So that means your data set is ready. So this is your data set, the raw data set, not yet coded or not yet filtered. Then what you have to do, you have to code them based on the numerical number. So how it looks like, I'm sharing that. Okay, so this, when you coded your data by numerical number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like this way, then it should be looks like in this way. Okay, you can see the category of SME, business of the year, number of employees, and annual sales. Okay, so these all are based on the responses using the 5 Likert scale. Like agreed, strongly agree is numbered by 5, agree numbered by 4, neutral numbered by 3, then is disagree numbered by 2, strongly disagree numbered by 1. So like this way, you have to code it. For example, the gender, male and female. So male might be numbered by number 1 and female numbered by 2. So all the male and female, you have to code it 1 and 2, 1 and 2, like this way. And then one more important thing is, here is the leveling. So this leveling category of SMEs, there should not have any space. So you can use the, you can use any space, okay? You cannot keep it space. You should not have any space in between the words. So it must be like that. The business year also same, number of employees also same. So should not have any space between the words or among the words. So your data set, if ready, and you already coded numerical using the numerical number, then you are ready to convert your data set or import your data set into the SPSS software. So let's go and we see how can we export this. Okay, this is the interface of SPSS. So when you open SPSS, you can click here in the file, and then you can see the import data. So in the import data, they have Excel, CSV file. So since we download our data in an Excel form, so you can click the Excel, then this Excel file you can upload from your folder. Okay. So I already import my data in this SPSS software. So you can see it automatically labeled based on the level into the Excel. So that's why the labeling is very important. So category of SME, business year, number of employees, annual sales, organization designation, those are the demographic profile. And these are the variable related responses, the independent variable, dependent variable, and other variable. So what you have to do now, we have to give the command to the variables. We have to label the variable because SPSS don't know that what is the meaning of 1, what is the meaning of 2. So we have to label it. How you label it, how you give the value, you have to click in the value option. So you see the number 1, when you write down number 1, and then you have to give the label like manufacturing company. So in my case, in my data set case, 1 is manufacturing, 2 is service industry, 3 is trade. So another example is gender. Okay, the easiest example is gender. So if you label male is 1, so then you write down you write down 1 here, and then you write down male. Okay, so for the female 2, so like this, you have to add and then click OK. Then it will be added here. So since my one is different, so manufacturing, service and trade, so already here. So like this way, you have to give the value for all the variables. What is the meaning of 1? What is the meaning of 2? What is the meaning of 3? Okay. And then the transformation leadership, TLS1. So you can see the 1 is strongly disagree, 2 is disagree, 3 is neutral, 4 is agree, and 5 is strongly agree. So you have to write down your desired scales, then you have to add, then okay. So this will be repeat for all the variables. For all other variables, you have to give this command. You have to give these values. Okay. So now our data set already ready, and then you already give the values for your numerical number. Then what you have to do, you have to give the labeling. So labeling is simple. You just copy whatever name is here and then paste here. Whatever name is here, you just paste here. Okay, paste in this column. So that means you give the label of these variables, of the name of the variables. Then now we are ready for data analysis. So at first we have to transform. We have to transform the variables. So how can we do transformation? You have to go to the transform, compute, then this interface will come. Then you have to double click to the all. Then you see you have to go down the box. You have to search down the mean. This is the mean. So you click the mean, double click. You can see here at the top, the mean, bracket, question, comma, question, and bracket appears. So what you have to do? You have to erase the question marks. Then these independent variables items, like I showed you that the 4 items are consist of transformation leadership, TLS1, TLS2, TLS3, TLS4 from the questionnaire. So what you have to do? You have to combine these 4 items into one variable. It cannot be separate. So what you have to do? TLS1, you click and then put here. It's already appear here. So you put the comma. Then TLS2, comma. TLS3, comma. TLS4. Okay. So all the 4 items already under the bracket. So make sure the bracket is closed and you put the comma for in between of all the items. Then you write down your variable's name. Okay. Which is the TLS, transformation leadership style. So whatever your name of the variables, you write down here. Then you have to click OK. So when you click OK, then you can see in the data view, at the end of the data view, okay, one column added, TLS1. That means this column represent your all the 4 items. So similar things should be done for all the variables separately. Like human resource performance, so all the items of human resource performance have to combine into one mean, then this column will appear. So this will happen, this will conduct for all other variables similarly. So that means the items should not be separate. Items should be consist of within one variable. So it will make our process easier to conduct the correlation and regression and other analysis. Okay, so this is the first thing we have to transform the items into the designated variables. Okay, then we have to see the any missing values or not. So to check the missing value, whether you have any missing value in the variable or not, we have to go to the analyze. You have to click the descriptive, then check the frequency. A box will appear. So you can put all the responses, Control and A. All the responses are selected. It's become gray color. Then you can bring the variables into this box, the variable box. That means your variables are already here. Then you check the statistic. You check the mean, median, mode, sum, standard deviation. Then continue. Then you click OK. When you click OK, you can check a result box appeared. So this is the result or outcome. So here you can see the missing. So this missing is 0. That means you don't have any missing value. If there have any missing value, that means some respondents, 1 or 2 respondents, they didn't answer. Any column is empty. So you have to check which column is empty. Then you have to delete or you have to replace. The best way is you have to delete that response, the column. Okay. The missing value should be 0. So until become 0, you can repeat the process. So when the missing value is 0, that means your data is cleaned already. Then we have to check the outliers. How we can check the outliers? I'm showing you. Okay, let's see the data set. Okay, we back to the data set. So we have to check the outliers. For checking the outliers, we have to go to the Analyze, Descriptive. You can find out the Descriptive, select Descriptive, then put mean of all variables. That means that time we already created the mean of the variables. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 variables, we have 5 scale here. So you bring all the variables here. Remember, don't bring the independent or individual items. No need. Only the mean of the variables. Okay. Then you have to click the Save Standardized Value as Variable. This box you have to click. Then you click OK. When you click OK, then let's go to our data set. Okay, we back to the data set. So in this data set, at the end, you can see there have ZTLS, ZHRP, ZWE, ZTMEC, ZOP, operational performance. So that means these are the row created after clicking that. So what you have to check, we have to select this column, right click, you see short ascending and short descending. So at first we click the short ascending. When you click the short ascending, you see all the values, the lowest values are here. So you have to ensure that no values are within the minus 3.29. So those values are higher than the minus 3.29, we have to delete that. So how many columns are lower than minus 3.29? You have to delete. How do you delete? You check here to, okay. So you see this one higher than minus 3.29. This one higher than minus 3.29. This one higher than 29. So these are the variables, these are the columns. This one also higher than 3.29. So this 7 column, you have to, this 8 column, this 8 column, you have to delete. So you select the entire column, then click the right click, click clear. When you click clear, then this data set, this 7 or 8 columns will be disappeared. It will be deleted. Okay. Then the next step is same thing to done for other variables. I'm showing you again. You click short ascending, you see the minus 3.84, that means should be deleted. Higher than minus 3.29 should be deleted. So these columns are higher than 3.29, so it should be deleted. Okay. A similar thing have to done for descending also. Okay. So you have to ensure that any values are within the 3.29. Okay. Within the 3.29. So like this way, we can identify and eliminate or delete the outliers. So when your outliers deleted, okay, so your data is clean already. Your data is clean. Then we have to go for the next analysis. What are the next analysis? We have to go for the, now we are showing the descriptive analysis. For the descriptive analysis, you can go to the analyze. Then you can go to the frequency. You said, so for the descriptive analysis, you only bring the variables, those who are combined, TLS, HRP, WE, DMEC, and OP. These 5 variables you bring here in this box, then click the statistic. You click the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. Continue. Chart. If you wanted to get any colorful figures like bar chart, pie chart, histogram, you can click, like example, I'm giving the histogram, and continue. Then other things should be unchecked, no problem. Then display frequency table, you have to check whether it's click or not. Then click OK. When you click OK, the result already done. So what is looks like? Let me check the result. So you can see, so these are the frequency or descriptive analysis of the variables, all the variables. So missing value is 0. The number of responses 340. So here have 340 responses. So mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. This table you can copy, and then you paste to the Word file. Then you can report. You have to report that. Okay. And then since we click the histogram, I believe they have a histogram at the end. Yeah, you can see the nice figures of histogram here. So you can, if you want, if you wish, you can report these figures as well. But it's not mandatory. The table is quite fine. So no need to put all the tables. I'm repeating again. You need to report only this table. Those consist all the variables. Just right click and copy and report to your project or thesis. So that's the way we conduct the descriptive analysis. Now I will show how to conduct the reliability for the pilot test. Okay, for the pilot test, 30 to 50 responses are quite enough. So when you collected the 30 to 50 responses, then we can go for the pilot test to check whether the variables are reliable or not. So how can we check the reliability? You have to go to the analysis. You have to go to the scale option. Then you check the reliability analysis. Click that. Then you bring the combined variable. Since we have 5 variables, so 5 variables should put here. Okay. Then statistic. you have to check, you have to click the box of scales, items, scale if item related. Then other box is by default, whatever have, ANOVA, none, turkey text, no need, okay, other test, no need. Exclude both users missing and system missing values. It should be checked. Then continue. Then you click OK. When you click OK, the result already appeared. Result already done. How it's look like? I'm going to the result section. So you can see this is the result of the outcome of the reliability analysis. So you have to report only this table. So convex alpha CA value. You see the number is 0.934. So if the convex alpha value is higher than 0.70, that means the items are reliable. So you can go for the further data collection for the final analysis. Okay. So you have to ensure that this convex alpha is higher than 0.70. Since it's 0.934, that means it's above of 0.70, our cutoff value. That means the items are reliable. So you can report this table similar way, right click the cursor and then you can copy and then you paste to the Word file, then you can report that. That's how we conduct the reliability test for the pilot test. For the final analysis reliability, also you can conduct by this same procedure, following the same procedure. Okay. So now we will conduct the analysis for the demographic profile. So for the demographic profile, what we have to do, we have to go to the analysis. We have to go to the descriptive statistic, frequency. You said, so these are the items, these are the variables, the demographic variables, category of SME, business of the year, number of employees, annual sales, and organizational designation. So whatever you have into the demographic profile, so you click the control, then you check, then click one by one. So it's all selected. Then you can bring here, or you can bring individually also, one by one. So all the demographic variables already I bring into this variable box. That means they are set into the desired box. Then you have to click the statistic. You have to check the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. Then continue. The chart, if you want any bar chart, pie chart, or histogram, the colorful chart, you can check it. If you don't want, you can check the none. Okay, you click the none, then continue. Make sure you check the display frequency table. It should be ticked. Then click OK. When you click OK, the result already appear into the outcome box. So let's go to the outcome box, outcome report. Okay, this is the result of the demographic profile. So what you have to report, this frequency table of category of SME, how many percentage of the, how many companies are manufacturing, how many companies are service, how many companies are trade. So in your case, whatever the demographic, you report that. You just copy, right click, and then copy and then paste. Paste into the Word file. Business year also, click, copy, and you can paste into your Word file. So that's how we can report our demographic profile into our report. Or what you can do, If you don't want to copy each and every variables, then you can transform. Here is you can export this whole report into one single Word file. So you have to click the transform. So one box will be appear. So make sure all are checked. Then you have to browse that where you wanted to save this outcome. Then you click OK. So there will be one Word file will be saved into the folder, which shows you all the result of the outcome of the SPSS into single Word file. So that's how we done our demographic variables or demographic analysis. So now we will do the analysis for correlation. How can we do the correlation? We have to How can we do the correlation? We can go to the analysis. Then you have to go to the correlation and then select the partial. Okay, I'm showing you again. You have to go to the analysis. You have to go to the correlation. Then you select the bivariate. Then the variables, the mean of the variables, that means the combined variables, you select. So 5 variables. We have 5 variables into the framework. So 5 variables you select and then you bring to the variable box. So here are the 5 variables into the variable box. Then you click option. It should be unchecked. Continue. Then make sure you click the Pearson correlation coefficient. Okay. And then two tails. Flag significant correlation. So these are the things, 3 things have to be checked: Pearson, two tails, and flag significant correlation. Then you click OK. So the result already appear into the outcome report. So this is the report of the correlation. This is the report of correlation. The correlation, you can see the transformational leadership, human resource practices, right? So, and then other variable organizational performance, decision makers, emotional intelligence. So all the variables correlations are here. So you can just copy, right click, and then copy this table and then report and paste into your Word file. Then you can report that. So since you have to see the Pearson correlation column, here is 0.816, 0.674, 0.684, 0.604. What is our dependent variable in this framework? The dependent variable is organizational performance, if you remember. So we have to see the value here. So the value of organizational TLS value correlate with the OP in significant way, like 0.604, which is higher than moderate values. 0.704 strongly correlated. 0.651 it's strongly correlated. 0.720 strongly correlated. So we have to report in this way. If the values are less than 0.20, that means the weakly correlated. If higher than 5, then is moderately correlated. If higher than 7, that is strongly correlated. So in this way, we can report that. So our correlation already done. So we back to our data set again to conduct the regression analysis. So I'm repeating again, those who have the independent variable and dependent variable only into the framework. So you can conclude your analysis, all the analysis into the SPSS. No need to go for smart PLS. But if your framework have the moderating and mediating variables, then it's suggested to use the smart PLS. So how can we check the regression and then the hypothesis, whether accepted or rejected? So you have to go to the analysis, then go to the regression here, then you check the linear. So here the boxes are appeared, dependent and independent. So what is our dependent variable? The organizational performance, right? So you bring it here. Then independent variable, we have how many independent variable? We have 2 independent variables into the framework. So TLS1 and HRP, human resource performance, the second independent variable. So if you have 5 independent variable, you bring all the 5 independent variable. If you have 3 independent variable, you bring the 3 independent variable into the independent box table. And dependent variable, we have 1, so organic performance, so we bring it here. So make sure your right variables you put into the right boxes. Then you click the statistic, you click the model fit, R square changes, descriptive no need, partial correlation no need, collinearity diagnosis. You can click it, estimate here, and confidence interval 95%, level percent. Covariance matrix no need, Dublin person. You can click it. Case-wise diagnosis no need. Then continue. Plot no need to check. Continue. Then you can click OK. The result already generated. So let's go to the outcome sheet. So you see this is the regression analysis headings result. So we have to report this coefficient table only. You see the TLS, the first independent variable, the HRP, the second independent variable are here. This is the main concern the significance level. Okay. You see the TLS is 0.160. If the significant values are less than 0.05, that means it's significant. 0.05, less than 0.05. I'm repeating again. So since these TLS values are higher than 0.05, that means the TLS is insignificant with the operational performance, our dependent variable. But HRP, human resource performance, the significant values is 0.000. That means it's lower than 0.05. So that means the HRP is significant with our dependent variable operational performance. So you copy this table, then you can report, or you can delete this column, because our main concern is significant value. It should be less than 0.05 to ensure that our hypotheses are supported or not supported. So you have to report in this way. If the significant values are less than 0.05, that means the hypothesis is supported. If the significant values are higher than 0.05, that means it's insignificant. Your hypothesis is not supported. So that's how we report our coefficient, the regression analysis. So I'm repeating again, those framework already only have the independent variable and dependent variable, they can stop until here. But if your framework have moderating and mediating analysis, then we have to go to the further advanced statistical tools, which is SmartPLS software. We will show that later on. Hi, welcome. So now currently we will see some optional preliminary analysis. It is completely optional. After collecting your full data, complete data set when ready, you can conduct this optional analysis preliminary, which is the non-response bias, common method bias or common method variance using Harman single factor analysis and normality test. So how we will do that, we will see in the next videos. Okay, this is our data set. We come back again in our data set. So for the non-response bias, we have to split the data set into two data set, like first 30 responses. Okay, first 30, the 30% or 30 respondents data, participants data, you have to keep into the one sheet. Okay, in one file, you have to keep the 30 responses, early 30 responses, the first 30 responses. You have to keep it. And another dataset you have to create where the last 30 responses. Okay, the last 30 responses, you have to keep it in separate dataset. So for this, I'm repeating again, for this non-response bias test, you have to create two dataset. The one consists of first 30 responses and another consists of last 30 responses. Then you have to do the descriptive analysis. How can you do descriptive analysis? At first, you have to go analysis, you have to go descriptive, you have to go frequency. Then you select the variables P, LS, HRP, WE, HMC, and OP. You keep it there in the variable box. The combined variables, not the independent items. Then you check the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. Continue. Frequency, display frequency table checked in. Then you click OK. When you click OK, then the result automatically appeared into the outcome dataset, outcome sheet. So let's go to the outcome sheet, how it looks like. So this is the dataset. This is the outcome sheet of the descriptive just now we conducted. So you see here is the 30 responses, the valid 30 responses of the early 30 responses, mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. Similar process you follow for the last 30 responses. And no need to report the frequency tables, only report this table, statistic table. Okay. So you just copy, right click, and then copy the statistic table and paste it to your Word file. And you label it into as a first 30 responses. So similar table will be created for the last 30 responses. So you compare, for this analysis, you have to compare the mean, median, and standard deviation, if whether it's significantly differ or not. If the difference is not so much significantly, then you can conclude that in this dataset, non-response bias not exist. So now we will see the normality test, and after that we will see the common method variance test using the single Harman factor analysis. How you can report your analysis into your project or thesis. So this is a sample I'm showing you. For the non-response bias, you have to write down this table and then this description. So basically the Wallace and Cook's 1990s, they proposed this non-response bias method. So the first 30 responses and then last 30 responses, we have to compare that there is no significant difference. So this how the table we generated from the SPSS analysis. So the early 30 responses, mean, median, standard deviation, and late 30 responses, mean and standard deviation. Median also can be included, no issue. So you see the significant, not significantly difference. Okay, 4.04 and 3.88, almost similar. 4.2 and 4.0. So not so much difference between these two data set result. So that means in this data set, non-response bias not exist. Then missing value, we already showed that missing value have to be 0. So in the Google form, it's mandatory. They have option to make the mandatory for all the answers. So in the Google form, it's required to respondents to answer all the questions before proceeding to the next page. So this option will reduce the opportunity of having the empty or any missing values. Okay. If there are any missing values, we have to treat it. We have to delete the column or responses entirely. And data cleaning process, we already shown in the video how we do that. And outliers also we checked by creating the Z score, and then it should not be plus minus 3.29 by ascending and descending, if you remember that. So we have to explain that. Normality, just now we shown. So normality test, we using the Kolmogorov, Smirnov, and then Shapiro-Wilk analysis. So the significant value should be less than 0.05. Significant value should be less than 0.5 for 2 cases. So this is the assessment of data normality. Here is the variables you put. So you can draw this table. You can redesign this table, whatever the outcome comes from the SPSS. Then autocorrelation also come from the regression analysis. Dublin and Watson values should be within the range of 1.5 to 2.5. So since our values comes 2.145, so which is within our cutoff value 1.5 to 2.5. So that means the autocorrelation not exist in this study. Whenever you do the regression analysis, that time you can get this autocorrelation result. Then common method bias, I already shown in the single Harman factor analysis. This is the table you have to report, Harman single factor test. So the variance should be less than 50%. If more than 50%, that means slightly they have exist of common method bias. If less than 50%, then no common method bias exists into this data set. Then BIF also can be report, which will be get from the SMPLS. So BIF should be less than 5.0. So BIF also indicate the common method bias according to the Koch 2021. The demographic profile, I already showed how to do the analysis, and then this is the way of reporting of demographic. You can redesign this table by using the options here. You can merge the table, you can eliminate the inner row or column, Okay. So it looks nice. So better put all the demographic together in one table rather than separate tables. And descriptive analysis, you can report like this way, or you can report by frequency also, like this way also you can report. These are all the descriptive analysis result and interpretation. So that's all for the SPSS analysis and report.